I'm going to head back to the clean channel by hitting the selector switch. And I'm going to talk about some of the effects that this comes standard with. The nice thing, I have to admit, if you're new to playing guitar and using effects and you're not sure which ones to buy, I usually recommend stomp boxes. But if you get an amp like this, it makes it really, really easy to switch to the effects. There's two effect knobs. One is referred to as EFX, which is your chorus, flangers, phasers, and tremolo. Over here is your delay and reverb effects. So you can have two effects simultaneously at once. The first chorus, it's very simple. You just turn the knob to the chorus area, and it puts chorus on your guitar. As you turn the knob further, the depth increases into a more kind of spongy, boingy type of chorus, which not too many people use, really. If I turn it the other way, it turns into a more subtle, forgive me for saying so, but cheesy type of chorus. As I move further into the flanger setting, it starts with a more slower sweep of a flange, and as I turn it more to the right, it gets quicker and more in depth. So you can actually get a lot of tonal variations just by turning one knob. If I turn it past the 12 o'clock position, we go right into the phaser, and you can hear it slowly going through a phase. As I turn it more, it increases the depth and the speed, and you can hear it sounds more like a more modulation going on. There, it's really phasing out right there. Now if I turn it past the 3 o'clock position, it goes into tremolo, which is probably my favorite of the effects on here. And as I turn it more towards the 6 o'clock position, the tremolo gets quicker and more in depth. So I actually like the tremolo on here. It's not too bad. But now over on the right-hand knob, we have our delay and our reverb. I'm going to turn the tremolo off so we can really hear this. As we move from the 6 o'clock position up to the 12 o'clock position here, our delay starts as kind of a slapback delay, which would be good for country and stuff like that, into a more full-fledged spaced out delay, which would be good for leads, Pink Floyd, that sort of thing. As you move more towards the 12 o'clock position, you get a really, really long delay. As we move past the 12 o'clock position, we go directly into the reverb setting. And it starts out with a very small sounding reverb. And as you turn it, the reverb gets much bigger, sounding into what is like sounds to be about a 1.5 second reverb delay. Now those are all the features on the top of the amp. And there's also a recording out / headphone output, so you don't drive your neighbors crazy when you're playing with your delays. That's a nice feature. And I'm going to go ahead and flip this amp around so we can take a look at the back and see what sort of features are on the back here. Now another marketing thing about this amp is that it's pretty light, and I'm not the strongest guy. I'm going to pick it up with my left arm and flip it around. As you notice, there are several little jacks back here, 1/4-inch jacks on the back. The first 3 here are all for different foot switches. You have a foot switch specifically for the delay and the reverb, a foot switch specifically for the EFX, which was your flange and phaser and all your modulation effects. Then you also have a channel select foot switch, so you could actually trigger just about all the different selections on here with a foot switch, which makes it easier for gigging and stuff like that. You have an external speaker out, which is a 8 ohm, maximum 60 watts. That's a nice feature as well, pretty standard on an amp like this. You also have a line out, which is good for recording. I don't see myself using this for recording ever. But who knows, everybody's got their own purposes for these things. And my favorite, a tuner out. That's actually a really nice feature. A lot of people will put their tuner in their actual chain of their patch cables and stuff, and that could dwindle your signal quite a bit. So it's nice to have a a tuner out specifically for that. And I imagine you could probably use it for other things too. That's the walkthrough of the Roland CUBE-60. Basically, I recommend it for gigging musicians, people who are tired of carrying heavy amps around. However, if you're going for that real authentic tube sound, this doesn't quite have it. It's got amp simulations, which are pretty decent. So I recommend this for more beginner performers who are tired of carrying around half stacks to their gigs. But check it out. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.